Okay, welcome. Today is Friday, and what a wild week we've had. I'm trying this live stream again. I'm going to try every single day until I get it down because I've had mic problems. I did this whole 40-minute live stream yesterday, and poof, gone. Um, anyways, let's jump right into what I was going to talk about. So I'm working on. I've done quite a few videos this week, mostly all centered around what's happening in the market and just volatility, fear, greed, emotions, all those basic things. Because when I set this channel up, I really wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to talk about um, things that I was involved in, specifically being carnivore, investing, home based business, transition, over 40, being an older dad, all those types of things. And what I've really gravitated towards is the market, the news, Trump, Musk, Doge, that type of stuff, real estate market, and, and the likes of that. So, anyways, saying all that, what I want to share with today is really going down more and more of that rabbit hole of um, how do you, let me back up. Let's say, how does someone in a situation similar to mine that is self employed, that is starting a new business, um, how do they find their footing? How, or if you're in a, maybe you're in a position where you've worked for someone for a very long time and you're switching gears to the point where you got fired, you got laid off, you want to change careers, you're not happy, all those things. So in the back of my mind, I think about those things because everybody's in a different situation. So necessarily, it's not all about what I want to talk about, but it's what also whatever skills that I have that I can help somebody. I was having a conversation today with a buddy of mine, and he was running a business idea past me that he's like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I was like, "Oh, great. This is my wheelhouse," because we were talking commercial real estate. We were talking everything from capitalization rates down to facility size, uh, how much money it would have to generate, what the cost basis was on it. I was all fired up. And then we got done with it. And he's like, "Man, there's a whole lot more to it than I ever imagined." And I was like, "Well, there's a lot to it." And that's with anything. One of the things that I'm realizing as I'm going forward is that a lot of things that I talk about, I just anticipate or expect people to be on the same page, or I'm having a conversation with someone on a higher level, and that necessarily isn't the case. So, really, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about this week, what's happening, some news, different things like that, and what a couple of my ideas are, and just bounce them around and see if anybody has anything to say about it. So, anyways, um, with this here, I can. I wanted to. Oops, don't want to edit. I want to cancel that. Okay. There's no one in the chat, which is kind of, oh, share screen. There we go. All right, this is cool. I'm learning how to do this. Da, 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 da. Um, oh, wow. Okay, cool. There they are. All right. There's some articles here that I want to go over. Um, and there's a lot of research I have on here. So this is, yeah, there we go. This is one that I wanted to share. And this is talking about, we're in this trade war. And I use Zero Hedge quite a bit. I kind of like them. I use other sources. But one of the things that I talked about in one of my videos was how the players involved, whether it was uh, Trump, Musk, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, the Commerce, whoever it was, they're talking about this is a trade war, and there's many reasons why we got this trade war going on. This is going to affect anyone and everyone, uh, really probably around the world. And this is something that we see. And when you say trade war, this is turning into digging your heels in. So this article talks about the turbulence between the Chinese airline delays Boeing jet delivery and possible non-tariff countermeasures. So it says China announced earlier that it had raised the levies on U.S. goods to 125%, up from the previous 54, but stated that it would no longer respond to any further tariff increases from Washington. This suggests that Beijing may begin rolling out non-tariff countermeasures. So this is something that Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, talked about as far as possibly delisting. He said nothing was off the table. So this thing has escalated to the point where it looks like they are uh, playing a big game of cat and mouse, or whatever you want to call it. China's non-tariff countermeasures against the U.S. in the pending trade war are broad and far-reaching and may include the following: export controls and quotas, currency devaluation. Currency devaluation. Would China devalue its currency to offset the? That would be a big devaluation. I don't know that they would do that. Boycotts, licensing and certificate hurdles. Yeah, there was one thing they talk about a Chinese inspection when a load of lettuce comes in the to port. If you're not in good standing, basically what they do is they let the ship sit there until everything rots, and then they decide to have their inspection. Of course, you fail. Um, Restricting market access. The U.S. is talking about doing that against China. China's talking about doing it against them. Pressure big tech with cybersecurity and data laws. Limit cultural imports. Selling U.S. treasuries. Now, they are definitely doing that. Um, so it's just really interesting what is happening now with this trade war. It went from we want to make you come to the negotiating table to China saying, nope, not going to do it, to basically here we are. And, you know, it's where we go from here. Doesn't sound like Xi Jinping is in any hurry to talk to Trump about it. This is another one I pulled up. Bombshell. DOD, Department of Defense, suggests Biden Pentagon suppressed COVID-19 origins investigation. That one I pulled up here because, you know, when it hasn't been that long ago, it's been 5 years ago, and secretly, or not secretly, but on the side, I've been doing a lot of studying on the whole cerveza sickness, whatever you want to call it. And I was one of the people that did not get a vaccine. My wife didn't get a vaccine. We weren't letting our kids have a vaccine. For me, anytime someone is saying that there's no implications or no liability on something as big as injecting something in your body, sorry, I'm out on it. I know many people did. They felt like they had to. This thing was all rushed, crammed down your throat. Well, it's interesting that this is coming out about it released years after the fact that documents suggest the top military intelligence officials either ignored or downplayed signs that the virus may have originated from a lab in Wuhan, raising new questions about transparency and accountability. Man, you know, over the last 5 years or even more, you know, I grew up in a very uh, entrepreneurial family, and we weren't government workers, we weren't Democrats, you know, blue collar type. I just look at this and going, this is just crazy. One report authorized by the Defense Department's Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness in December, but quietly published online only in recent weeks, confirms that the Pentagon never conducted an investigation into whether U.S. service members may have been infected during the 2019 World Military Games held in Wuhan, a city that would soon become ground zero for this. So Um, yeah, it's kind of scary stuff, but um, so here we go. Um, oh wow, see, I'm learning already. This didn't switch over to the uh, not yet. Don't want to stop sharing that, and going to share a new screen, and we'll go back to, man, I tell you, this is a whole new learning. Um, duh, duh, duh. Wow, this is wild. Okay. All right. Well, let's just keep moving on. Um, oh, here it is. Sure. There it is. Ah, found it. Bombshell DoD. That's what I was just talking about. Again, this is on Zero Hedge. Talks more about um, no investigations. Equally significant is the disclosure of an internal 2020 assessment by the National Center for Medical Intelligence. The analysis titled SARS-CoV-2 genome analysis concluded that the genetic characterizations of the virus were consistent with laboratory engineering. I mean, it's just, it blows my mind about this whole thing. Other things that I kind of want to talk about a little bit was about let's share this one. Nope. Let's not share that one. Let's shade trading volatility. That's what I'm talking about. Turbulence. Swing trading. Going to talk about that. Oh, technical analysis basics. Let's look at this one. Here we go. This is 3 shocking truths most people don't know about money and bank accounts. This is interesting. I think I'm going to do one on this. Said Henry Ford once astutely observed that a revolution would occur overnight if people truly understood the banking and non-monetary system. That's because modern banking is an elaborate illusion, one that lulls people into a false sense of security until it's too late. The reason why I find this interesting is because I'm not a huge fan of the banking system. Surprise. But in the banking system, um, it's fractional, meaning that the dollars aren't actually there. The FDIC doesn't have enough funds to cover in case there's a major. I think they actually somewhere around 3 to 5% of all deposits. There's actually money available, which is crazy. But anyways, it says large banks can fall within hours and life savings can vanish overnight. The US banking system is particularly vulnerable. So, why do so many people place their confidence in life savings into such a fragile system? It's because they don't understand it. Number one, when the money's in the bank, money isn't yours. Number two, the money actually isn't there, it's digits on a screen. Actually, the money that's in the drawer and the money that's safe is very small. And number three, the money isn't really money. Um, so let's hear about truth number one. The money isn't yours. Many people are shocked to learn that they actually don't own the money in their bank accounts. Once you deposit money, it's no longer your personal property. It legally belongs to the bank, and they can do whatever they want with it. What do you do? What do you own is simply a promise from the bank, an IOU. That's it, to pay you back. In reality, depositing money is the same as giving the bank an unsecured loan, often with little or no interest to compensate you for the risk. It's it's fantastic for the banks, not good for people that giving them. So be very careful of how much money you put in banks and store in banks. Truth number two, the money isn't actually there. The money you think is in your bank account, it doesn't actually exist. Banks don't keep physical cash. Um, In fact, so where's the money go? Behind the scenes, bank use your money to place bets on speculative investments. They're gambling with your life savings, often, sometimes recklessly. Um, and it's just a small percent of depositors showed up to withdraw the money. Most banks would be in serious trouble. That's what's happened to a lot of banks. And now digitally, where you can click a button and transfer funds, um, you know, the practice is called fractional reserve banking, and yes, it's completely legal. Um, Here's an example I give. Picture a car dealership or jewelry store running a fractional reserve model, offering 10 times more claims on cars or diamonds than they actually have in inventory. Truth number three, the money isn't really money. Most people use currency every day, but rarely stop to ask, what is money? Really, what is it? It's like asking a fish, what is water? The fish doesn't notice until something goes wrong. Money is simply a good, like any other in the economy. And understanding that makes something good money is actually pretty straightforward. As core money is just a tool for storing and exchanging value. I this is a rabbit hole that I could go down to. But for one form has stood for the test of time has been gold. A lot of people say it's a store of energy, it's a store of value. There's many things that make money money. So, anyways, I think this is a very good thing. Something I think I want to talk about in the future a little bit more about, and what is actually money. Uh, so, okay, getting back to it. Let's look at this one. Here we go again. Oh, the basis trade disintegrates, sending gold, euro, yen soaring. Yields trip Besant's red line as dollar plummets. So yeah, that's all blowing up. And that goes back to the money talk. So, what else we got here? Let's check this one out. All right. We are now a global destabilizer. Larry Fink stunned by Trump tariffs. So if you don't know who Larry Fink is, you got to think about BlackRock. BlackRock being probably the most, uh, the largest investing company. They he's a little upset about Trump and his tariff wars. He says the sweeping U.S. tariff announcements went beyond anything I could have imagined in my 49 years in finance. Um, this isn't Wall Street versus Main Street, Fink emphasized, adding the market downturn impacts millions of ordinary people's retirement savings. This is really good. It shows about how in here the trade war is fundamentally about reviving America's hollowed out manufacturing. This is global trade dominance, and it shows us in 2000 what it looked like and what it kind of looks like in 2024. This, we have to fix this. This is something that has to get fixed. It's going to be painful. It didn't happen overnight. It's taken over 20, actually 40 years for this to all play out. There's I could just talk endlessly about it. Let's see. Let's talk about what do we got else here? This is a good one. Let's share this one. And I like this guy, the Monopoly guy. Anyways, is a consumer tapping out? In the recent implementation of tariffs, has the media buzzing about increased recession odds as the consumer faces potentially higher cost? Inflation is down. All the prints that have come out has shown that inflation is in control. Is the consumer tapping out? I definitely think so. I've tapped out, so I don't think it's any surprise that most consumers would be tapping out. um, from this. Anyways, this has been a big test for me. I think I finally have learned how to use this live stream function. So what I want to do going forward is using it more interactively and being able to share my screen, because there's things that I want to show you guys, and hopefully get more interactive. So anyways, that's all I got for right now, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.